I'm here at Radar Festival with Jonjo from
Hello.
Lastelle. Is that how you say it,
Jonjo,
Lastelle?
or John, yeah, both, yeah. Lastelle,
Okay.
Jonjo.
Fantastic, love it. Just to check.
We do get some strange pronunciations,
Do you?
yeah. Lastelle, you got it right though.
Okay, what? Go on, give us an example.
We had like Lastelli,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Or mainly a spelling we've had it because there's a place in France which is not where the name came from called La Stelle.
Right.
So we've had it spelt like that as well with like all the accents and everything. So I know that's
got ya.
not correct. But yeah, Lastelli, Lastille.
I was wondering if maybe this is people's first experience or kind of exposure to Lastelle. Can you explain a little bit about kind of like your vibe, your sound?
You're gonna go, what genre are you? And just the one word we'd say like post-hardcore is probably the
Okay.
easiest thing because it's a pretty wide encompassing term.
Yeah.
To go into a bit more depth, we are kind of take a lot of inspiration from like atmospheric and instrumental music, while then at the same time combining it with 3 vocalists. So we the music is quite whilst within the post-hardcore genre, it's slow, atmospheric, and like highly emotional. Is probably
Okay,
what I'd,
that's interesting.
yeah, is what I'd kind of say. Like we're not a fast-paced band.
Kind of on brand for an interview like this, maybe.
Maybe so, funnily enough. Yeah.
I was wondering if maybe, this is quite a tough question, it stumps a lot of people. If you could maybe summarise Lastelle in 3 emotions.
Sad. We'll go with that one. Energetic. Is that an emotion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few people have said that,
yeah. And melancholic.
Oh, good one, good one. If you could choose one of your songs, like as therapy,
Ooh,
which one would you choose?
it's therapy. That's a good question. I think it depends on what the therapy session's about. Not as a cop-out answer, but our most recent single, which is called Bitter Seeds, which is a song dealing about kind of realising that you're in some sort of toxic relationship kind of thing. So
Okay.
it's kind of the coming to terms with it
Yeah.
and realising that you may have been manipulated. So that's quite a therapeutic thing in terms of it's to do with coming to terms with it.
I think that's quite relatable for a lot of people,
Yeah.
you know?
And I think specifically with Bitter Seeds, it's more about talking about people that are very close to you, like say a family, and it has a lyric that says it's in my blood, and it's kind of the
Yeah.
whole point is it's so deeply ingrained.
Yes.
It takes a lot to get out of it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that song is about kind of coming to terms and realizing and trying to move on from.
Yeah, wow. And actually, you mentioned this before about kind of like not shying away from raw emotion in your music. But I guess I was wondering if that's kind of like intentional, like cathartic to write music about and perform.
Yeah, so very much that. That is pretty much like the whole mantra of the band, is it for it to be like a cathartic release for everybody. So for myself, like I am blessed to be in a good mental health state, which people might listen to my music and assume not.
Yeah.
But for me, like it's a way of tapping into something that I maybe doesn't naturally occur with me. The thing that I want to do with Lastelle is one was to have a release for myself, and also for me to be able to give other people the same thing that I get when listening to emotional music.
Yeah, but then I guess there's also a thing, isn't there, about, and there's research out there about like metal, rock music, alternative music in general, and people who listen to that kind of music being quite a generally calm
Yeah.
and kind of like...
Because it is a cathartic thing.
Yeah.
When you've got that release, there's a reason that people that might be jumping around in a mosh pit aren't doing that in other places because they've got their place to go and do it.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly
Yeah,
it.
and
So
that is it for me. Is like I find that like if it sounds a bit very extreme, but if I want to feel something, I'll listen to music.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I mean, same.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people watching this will also do the same
Yeah.
thing. So
And if I can make other people feel that with our music, that's the thing that I feel like it's doing what it's meant to do.
yeah, I'm also curious about like recently, I guess more in like recent years, more musicians have started talking more openly about mental health, which I think is wonderful. But I was just curious what your thoughts are about that. Do you think it's a good thing?
Oh,
or-
it's a brilliant thing, and I mean, like, it's something that I don't think we've not necessarily spoken openly about because I don't feel like it's never something we've hidden in the sense that like I feel like it's just part of our band with the type of content that we're singing about and the lyrics that we write. it doesn't take a lot to figure out that that's what we're talking about. So like, you know, we it's just kind of embedded in our music as a focus, and like we our lyrics are written fairly collaboratively. So like myself and Fred, our bassist, are probably the two main lyric writers. But we go back and forth between each other. We pass it off to the other guys as well, like Adam and Mike, who are the other two vocalists. And then it's kind of a case of if we feel like we can all understand the meaning behind the song, then it can resonate with us more. So you have to be open about that kind of stuff to be able to do that. Like we all know what the inspiration was behind this song and why they were writing it, and it is all really like, you know, personal stuff like death and loss in the family, relationships, all this kind of stuff. Like that's the stuff we write about, and we're all, you know, five best mates as well. We know what people have been through, and we understand that, and we work with it when writing the lyrics. And I think it's the case of if I can read this and I can get what you're on about, then the public will as well. And if I can't, let's figure out a way that we can both relate to the song, and then we'll both relate to it more, and then hopefully more people will as well when it gets released. So yeah, the mental health thing is like, it's inherent. This wouldn't be a band without that as a subject to write about, I think.
Yeah, so like highly relatable lyrics, but also it sounds like it's just part of your guys' expression.
It is, because again, for me, like when I started this band, it was like, when I started writing the music for this band, it was like the entire point was to do it as a release, as a cathartic release, and like I said, hope that the people listening to it feel the same, can use it for the same thing. That's the entire point of the band. Like, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be a band.
This is why music is so great, though, isn't it? Like, especially for mental health. But just a bit of a kind of quick fire, this or that type round. Right. Okay, so mosh pit or meditation?
Oh, I think I'm probably more of a meditation guy.
Same.
Maybe asked me like 15 years ago. Might be the other way around.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one. I like this one. Cry on stage or cry on the tour bus?
Oh, it's on stage, 100%. Yeah, that's like
for all to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it all out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Instrumentals or lyrics for healing?
Oh, that's a tough one for me because I'm a big instrumental guy, which is where most of my like music inspiration comes from. Yeah. But then the other side, I'm also massively into lyric bands.
For healing.
For healing. Yeah. Let's go with lyrics, I think, for that, actually. Yeah.
Any reason for that? Like, because it's expression?
I think when you can find a song that's saying what you're feeling,
you
could just, like, it just helps massively. Like, I could pinpoint moments where in my life where I've listened to songs because of what was happening at the time.
Okay, I've got to ask you now, what songs would those be?
And we're going through Breakup, as we all do, and La Dispute's first album, Somewhere Between the River, is massive. Was massive for that because it was like that entire album is a concept album about the concept of divorce and things like that. It wasn't a divorce, but it was still a breakup. And it was the whole thing was like, yep, cool, this makes sense, and that helped. That helped massively,
because it says what you
exactly that. Yeah.
Okay, so finally, I've got two more questions for you. One is, if anybody watching this is struggling with their mental health, what would you say to them?
The biggest thing I think is to talk. I think it's very easy to get yourself in that position where you think people wouldn't want to listen, and actually, really, the reality is that your friends are going to listen more than you could probably ever think that they would.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's so much stuff out there that like Samaritans and things that if you are in a position where you don't have anyone to talk to, there is still someone to talk to, which is brilliant. So
reach out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the talking is the biggest thing entirely. Yeah.
I completely agree with that. And the last question is there anything else that you would like to sort of promote? Anything that's coming up from you guys? Any tours? New
yes,
material?
Of course. Yeah, we've got a lot going on actually, which is nice.
Talk to us.
Yeah. So we've got. So we're currently in the process of releasing the singles from our next release, which is called Exist Volume 2. So we've done 2 EPs, Exist Volume 1 and Exist Volume 2, which kind of go back to back. And we're halfway through releasing the second one of the two now. And then with that, we've got a headline tour in September around the UK.
Fantastic.
So which is, I think, 9 or 10 shows around the UK. That's on sale now, so that's available. So that's promoting the EP. We are back in Manchester then, actually, for that, at the Deaf Institute, at the Lodge, I think is.
What a venue that is.
Yeah. We released our most recent single called Bitter Seas, which is the one that I mentioned earlier. Yeah. That came out, I think, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago now. So that's what we've been pushing recently. So yeah, if you like something that talks about sad subjects, which is what we do.
Which we all
Yeah,
need.
have a listen.
Yeah,
And there's
absolutely.
more to come. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much for having this
all right.
conversation with me.
That's all right, no
like
problem.
I said, you know, it's so important that we talk about this, and you said it yourself, like we need to be open about it. So
Yep.
I really appreciate that.
That's
Thank
all right.
you.
Thank you for having me.